Aquaculture in Maine is made up of three different sectors: finfish, shellfish, and seaweed. The total economic revenue for those sectors is $100 million. Seaweed is probably the smallest from a revenue point of view, but it's the fastest growing of those three subsectors. The seaweed aquaculture sector in Maine is kind of unique. It works as a counter-cyclical crop to our traditional fisheries. So commercial fishermen can grow seaweed when they're not fishing during the winter. That means it fits in very well with working waterfronts in Maine. And because of that, and because of interest and demand in healthy seafood, seaweed being grown in Maine is in great demand. In fact, we can't grow enough of it right now. Maine is uniquely positioned because we have clean water, we're close to markets, and we still have a working waterfront. So there are places where we can fit farms in to serve those national and international markets. One of the most interesting changes that's happening, I think, and it's happened in the last, say, 5 to 8 years, is that aquaculture has really become integrated into the traditional working waterfronts. We're seeing more and more commercial fishermen, or the sons and daughters of commercial fishermen, beginning to use aquaculture as a tool to diversify their income, as a way to bet hedge, if you will, against the risk in a particular fishery. If one fishery goes down, then aquaculture is something that they can use to continue that family tradition, that maritime heritage of working on the water.
We view this as both an opportunity for entrepreneurs to get into the business themselves completely, but also as a second source of income for existing fishermen. The fact that there's no inputs and you're making use of the ocean's resources as it is, and can harvest in the early spring through this major growth cycle in the first quarter of the year, that's just so positive for the coast.
I seeded my kelp farm for the first time. It went great. It was easier than I thought it was going to be.
With lobstering the way it is and the whole world the way it is, you need a backup plan. You really do. You got to come up with something different. I've been in the urchin industry, I've been in the shrimping industry, and now we're going to go into the kelping industry.
So seaweed, as well as other marine aquaculture, offers this opportunity to take embedded expertise and understanding in the fishermen and apply it to a way of growing a food source that is healthy and in fact positive for the ocean's environment. So it's kind of a win-win all around.
You kind of reach points in the emergence of a sector that you realize are critical points. This is one of those points for the seaweed sector in Maine. We need products to be developed that will resonate with the American consumer.
There's a huge potential for market expansion with various innovative products, and we don't even know the limits of it. We want to learn what we can do with seaweed. So we reached out to Jim Griffin at Johnson & Wales, an incredible guy who has been a chef, an executive of a frozen seafood company. He's kind of done it all.
And so what we decided to do was work on innovation from the consumer side, creating recipes, formulas, and ideas that we could bring to the community, bring to manufacturers here in Maine to help improve consumption. And that's exactly what we're able to do.
And we worked with him to design a project that would bring 5 to 10 new products to market that are scalable, both in grocery stores and in restaurants. Things that co-packers and processors could actually take on immediately.
We did a seaweed tasting hosted by the Island Institute.
We were tasting products that have seaweed in them.
I'm really impressed by how tasty everything was.
In some cases it seemed like they were hiding the seaweed in there, sort of like sprinkling vitamins in.
I was really pleased with everything I ate. Some I wouldn't go ahead and eat again.
In other cases they were really kind of showcasing the seaweed and making it stand out.
I loved the ice cream.
The cucumber and dulse salad was my favorite.
I should confess that I do like seaweed. I was excited to find new ways to introduce it into the diet.
We're really looking at seaweed aquaculture from kind of the beginning of the supply chain to the end as being a really great opportunity for the state of Maine, for communities along the coast, and for the economy of Maine to become a leader in this industry that no one else in the U.S. is really doing it yet.
Aquaculture of kelp and shellfish are really two investments that we're making alongside community members who want to be early adopters to look at what a more diverse marine economy could look like.
So the opportunities are huge. It's even more than mussels were 20 years ago or tilapia was 15 years ago. We're finally coming to realize the value here of growing our own food in the marine environment.
Right now we've got farmers in the water and new products for their sea vegetables to go into. It's an exciting time for the working waterfront here in Maine.